It's December 2025. And for the first time in, well, maybe ever, the most intense drama in the NBA isn't actually happening on the court. It's happening on the calendar. We are talking about the unprecedented retirement clock that is ticking down on LeBron James. I mean, think about it. The King is 40. He's about to turn 41 in just a few days, and he's deep into his record-setting 23rd season. But here's the real story, the massive truth. The talk around his exit isn't just, speculation anymore. It feels like a deadline. A hard deadline that's being forced by a new kind of strange injury, by the huge changes happening on the Lakers roster, and honestly by a multi-billion-dollar business opportunity that demands he get off the court.
And that's exactly what we're digging into today. That's our mission. We pulled together all the sources, reports from insiders, salary cap experts, even chatter from the commissioner's office to really understand why the timeline isn't just sometime soon. It's looking specifically like the end of the season, the 2025-26 season. We're looking at a collision of four critical factors. You've got the biological, the tactical, the financial, and this huge external one.
Right, and this deep dive is all about giving you the shortcut to the core of that story. So, as we kick this off, here's a question for you, for the listener. We're going to explore his body, the team, his ambition. But what stands out to you right now as the single biggest thing pushing him out the door? Is it the money? The new teammate, or this massive business deal waiting for him? Just, keep that in your head as we start with the one opponent no one beats. Time.
Let's unpack this. For years, we've called him the Incredible Hulk, right? We watched him just absorb the punishment of 20-plus years in the league. Ankle sprains, muscle strains, you name it. But the big physical issue this season, it's something different, something way more ominous, maybe. He missed the first 14 games of this season, including the opener, because of sciatica.
And that right there is the core of the biological argument. Sciatica isn't just a pulled muscle, it's nerve irritation. It starts in the lower back, the glute, and it can radiate all the way down the leg. All the reports are making this distinction very clear. This is not a hamstring pull you can fix in 2 weeks with some heavy physical therapy. So why does a nerve issue feel more like the end game than, say, a torn muscle?
Because muscles and tendons, you can rebuild them. You can strengthen them. LeBron has mastered that. But neurological issues, especially when you're 30 years old, they signal a kind of structural wear and tear that is so much harder to reverse. It's something you have to manage, not just heal. It changes how you move fundamentally. And the insiders, they see this as the first real sign that the Incredible Hulk stuff is finally giving way to, biology. It's this persistent issue that's going to dictate his minutes from here on out.
Which makes perfect sense why the Lakers were reportedly telling everyone to be overly cautious. They knew pushing through nerve pain isn't like pushing through a strain. The risk is just so much higher.
Exactly. But here's what's so wild. He comes back, and he is still playing at an absolutely elite level. I mean, last season, his 22nd, he's putting up 24 points, 8 assists, almost 8 rebounds. The skill, it's still there.
Oh, the skill is generational, for sure. But the sources are pointing to a modified version of LeBron since he came back in November. What does that actually look like?
It's a huge shift in how he works on the court. So you look at his first game back against the Jazz. He had 12 assists, right? His basketball IQ is on full display. But he only took 7 shots.
Only 7. Wow.
He wasn't being a battering ram anymore. He was a conductor. He's picking his spots. He's choosing when to turn on that, top-tier athleticism. It's all about playmaking and efficiency, not just dominating the ball for 30 minutes.
That choice alone, it suggests he's already thinking about what comes next. And the mental shift is just as big. I can't stop thinking about that story he told about what he does in his free time now. He admitted he's not even watching NBA highlights anymore. He told a reporter, "Champ, I watch YouTube golf these days."
That is such a huge tell. He's mentally checking out of the day-to-day grind. He even said golf is a complicated mindfuck, which is just
Classic LeBron.
so classic. But it shows he's looking for a different kind of challenge, a solitary one. It's him against the course, not him managing like 15 different egos in a locker room.
It's a desire for a mental release, trading the drama of the court for the, the quiet frustration of a bad golf swing.
And then there's his own words. He said he's on the other side of the hump, and that retirement is coming. It is coming. It's just not here yet. But the key part was when he said he refuses to play until he's a shell of his former self. His pride demands he leaves while he can still drop 24 points on any given night.
The biological clock started the conversation, but the team's structure is what's really setting the deadline.
That's a perfect way to put it.
Which leads us right into our second section, the tactical and financial impasse.
The Lakers have been building toward this for a while, and his injury just proved their plan was working. The really definitive shift was back in February 2025. That trade that brought Luka Doncic to Los Angeles, that one move instantly created the succession plan.
Luka is obviously the centerpiece now, but what did that trade do to LeBron's role, like, overnight?
It changed it completely. For 2 decades, LeBron was what we call a heliocentric creator.
Everything orbited him.
Everything, his drives, his decisions. Now he's more of a tactical facilitator. Some people are even calling him a .5 player.
Okay, let's break that down for people. What does being a 0.5 player actually mean?
It means the second you catch the ball, you make a decision in under half a second. You either shoot, you pass, or you drive. You cut out all the extra dribbling.
No hesitation.
0. And the data here is just, it's striking. James is recording career lows in how long he holds the ball, under 3 seconds, and how many times he dribbled per touch. It's under 2. He's actively deferring to Luka.
So the high assist numbers aren't him taking over. They're actually a sign that he's handing over the controls.
Precisely. And the proof is that while he was out for those 14 games, the Lakers were fine, Luka led them, and they stayed in the top 4 in the West. They prove they don't need LeBron's heroics every single night just to win. The organization is ready to move on.
And that success creates this really awkward financial problem. I mean, he secured this last year, right? He picked up his player option, $52.6 million. But the entire conversation is about what happens in the summer of 2026. And it all comes down to one guy, Austin Reaves.
Reaves is the entire hinge point. Everyone expects him to decline his option for the 26-27 season and go for a massive contract. We're talking a 5-year, $241 million max deal.
Wow.
And you've already got Doncic locked into his own max deal. So if you pay both of them max money, keeping a 42-year-old LeBron at anything close to his current salary, it would push the Lakers into what's called the second apron breach.
We hear that term second apron all the time, but for someone listening, why is that so bad? Why is it a disaster for a team trying to win a championship?
This is where it gets really bad. It's not just about money, it's about strategy. The second apron is this super punitive level of the luxury tax. Once you cross it, you don't just pay a bigger fine. The league takes away the tools you need to build your roster. What kind of tools? Well, the big one is you lose your mid-level exception, which is how you sign decent role players in free agency. You also can't combine salaries and trades. You can't sign guys on the buyout market. You're basically stuck with your stars, minimum contracts, and your draft picks. It's almost impossible to build a deep team.
So if LeBron stays, even for less money, the cap hit from his salary would cripple their ability to put a real team around Luka and Reaves.
That's the consensus. You just can't win in the modern NBA with 3 giant salaries unless all 3 guys are in their absolute prime. For LeBron to stay, insiders are saying he'd have to take a huge pay cut, like a tiny fraction to what he makes now.
So retirement gives the Lakers maximum flexibility. The financial wall is just as real as the nerve pain in his leg.
It's a solid wall.
Okay, so we have the physical need for an out, the financial need for an out. Now for the part that I think is the real deadline, the thing that basically demands he exits in 2026, even if he wanted to keep playing. The Vegas ownership objective. This is where it gets really interesting.
This is the hard deadline. There's no getting around this one. LeBron has been very public for years about wanting to own an NBA team, and specifically the one in Las Vegas.
And now the league has finally put a real timeline on expansion, and it lines up perfectly.
It lines up perfectly. Commissioner Adam Silver, late in 2025, he confirmed that the league will make a determination on expansion sometime in 2026. Everyone knows it's going to be Seattle and Las Vegas, and those new teams could be playing as soon as the 2027-28 season.
But there's a legal rule here, right? A specific NBA rule about ownership that forces his hand.
A very strict rule. The NBA bylaws prohibit any active player from holding an ownership stake in any NBA franchise. It's a black and white rule, no conflicts of interest. So the timeline becomes everything. If the bidding process, the vetting, the forming of these ownership groups for the Vegas team, if all that starts in the summer of 2026, LeBron has to be retired at the end of this season to legally be part of it from day one.
So if he decides to play one more year, he misses the boat. He misses the chance to be a founding owner of this franchise. He'd have to try to buy in later or wait years for another chance.
He would miss the launch. And for a guy who has built his brand on power and control, this is the ultimate business move. Walking away now lets him roll his massive brand value directly into an ownership stake at the ground floor.
And this business deadline just happens to line up with all the personal goals he's already hit.
Exactly. He's already checked the biggest emotional box off his list, playing with his son Bronny. Bronny got drafted in 2024. He's played the last 2 seasons. LeBron called that the most gratifying journey of his entire career. So, mission accomplished.
And he even made a point of saying he wasn't going to wait around for his younger son, Bryce.
He did. He was very clear about that back in September. He said, I'm not waiting on Bryce. He knows their timelines don't match up. Bryce is just a freshman in college. Waiting for him would mean playing until he's 45.
And becoming that shell he's so afraid of.
Exactly. And then you have, maybe the ultimate tiebreaker. The report that he was overheard at a private dinner saying his wife, Savannah, wants him to retire in the next year or so.
When your body, your team's finances, a multi-billion-dollar opportunity, and your wife are all pointing to the door, I think the decision is pretty much made.
Every single sign points to the summer of 2026. The injury gave him a reason, the Lakers cap sheet gave the team a reason, and the NBA expansion gave him a hard, non-negotiable business deadline. This is a strategic exit.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. For you, the listener, here's the key takeaway from our deep dive.
It's actually pretty simple. LeBron's retirement isn't about him not being good enough to play anymore. He absolutely is. This is about a collision of timelines. The nerve injury gave him the biological out. The Lakers' salary cap needs give them a financial out. And the NBA's expansion deadline for 2026 demands an external out if he wants to get that Las Vegas team. This isn't the move of a fading athlete. This is the move of a generational businessman.
Which leads to the final, I think, provocative thought here. The question isn't if he can still play. We know he can. The real question is this. Does he risk tarnishing his legacy by taking a massive pay cut to be the second star in Luka's era, all while his dream of owning a team slips away? Or does he walk away now, on top, at the absolute peak of his global power, to start building his next empire? For a guy who has controlled his own narrative his entire career, walking away now feels like the only move left. So we want to know what you think. Do you believe the opportunity to own the Las Vegas NBA team is the one single factor that forces his hand? The thing he just can't say no to? Let us know what you think. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That way you won't miss our next analysis. Thanks for listening.